Okay, so we're recording now.
Okay, so first you take a slide, and you see how dirty it is. You wipe it clean with this lint-free cloth, which we have lots of. We use them in cleaning the apertures for the microscope, for example. And when you get a good smooth feel, so there's little resistance on the slide, it's pretty clean. There may be some dust on it, in which case you can blow the dust off, mostly. I wouldn't worry about it if there's a few specks, because you can work around those. Then you can attach this little clamp to the slide, lower it into the solution of Formvar, which is 0.5% in ethylene dichloride. Raise it out of the solution, and for about 20 seconds, more or less, 20 to 30 seconds, let the slide drain. So it'll be nice and a more even thickness of film from top to bottom. And after that point, you pull it out, place it in this drying rack, which I like to cover just so the dust doesn't get on your drying slide, and you set the timer for 5 minutes. Now we've already set it for 5. Okay, it's 5 minutes now. And, do this evaporation. Okay. Are we shooting?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The next step is to float off films in water. And you need to release the, I don't know if I can get this here, but you need to release the film from the slide, and you can score the edges of the slide on both sides with a razor blade. And I like on the bottom to start in the middle and work to the edges.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is the tricky part. I'm going to breathe on the slide and create a fog surface. Let's see if we can see that.
Mm-hmm.
That helps somehow to lift the slide off. Now, the other thing you can do is to make scores across part way, and you could get sort of multiple patches, or in this case I think that actually it's too long. You touch it to the surface and let surface tension get the film started. You almost need to be where I am now at this point, I think, to see the film. And oops, that's good enough. So if you come around here and shoot down, you might be able to see the reflection. Or maybe not. It's kind of hard.
Yeah, I got it.
There it is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So then, at this point, we'll get this in a light situation where I can see where the film is. And then I use these fine forceps to pick up grids and place them one at a time. On the film. You can either be systematic about this or don't worry about it. One thing I think is important is when you're picking up the grid to use this latex pad so you can go underneath the grid without bending it so that it lies perfectly flat. Because in the microscope you want to have a perfectly flat grid. And if you use the latex you can just push down underneath and get under the grid. Grids have two sides. They have a shiny side and a dull side. People choose one or the other, but be consistent. It doesn't really matter which side you put down on the film. I like to put the shiny side down. Other people like to put the dull side on. I'm going to put a shiny side up so you can see the difference in the image here. So I'm going to now put the shiny side up instead of down. And I think you can probably see the difference.
Mm-hmm.
This is important later on. When you're loading your grids into the scope, you always want to put them in the same way. And they'll get turned around in grid boxes or otherwise, but if you okay, I'm going to call that good. We could put as many as we want, but the next step is to use cover slips to fish this out of the water. I use these long, 60 millimeter long cover slips, so it gives me plenty of leeway. You can clean these off too. A simple wipe with a cloth and a blow like that is good enough. And then you get the reflection right so that you see where the film is. Touch the lower edge of the cover slip to the film and then push down all the way so that the top of the film touches the cover slip. Then you can bring it out. And if it's got a lot of excess water, you can actually just flip the water off like that, or you can drain it also. And you can wipe the back. Be sure you're wiping the back. And if you're careful, you can take excess water away from this area here. And then you simply set it somewhere to dry. It'll take, and half an hour would be a good amount of time to let it dry before you try to use it at all. Some people like to dry it for an hour. Some people like to dry it overnight. Rena's a believer that you need to dry it overnight before it's totally stable. In my 30 or 40 years of doing EM, I'd always use them right away. And I don't think it's a big thing.